by border and immigration law enforcement agencies. We're going to have more details on the annual Abuse of Authority documentation campaign. Then a new report shows that the prices American consumers are paying at the cash register are rising. While some are making us reach a little deeper into our pockets, others are giving us a little bit of a break on some goods. We're going to break down all that data, and it looks like we're in for another round of rain, but the question is, will it be stronger tonight? Robert.
Monica, KTSM has issued a weather authority alert due to the potential for very strong storms and the threat of intense rainfall tonight. I'll have your forecast. We are live on KTSM Plus, and your news starts right now.
You're watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. Starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for choosing KTSM Plus, our new digital newscast. I'm Monica Cortez, and we begin with some developing stories. One person is dead after a motorcycle crash in Central El Paso. This was a look at the scene earlier this morning, and according to the El Paso Police, the incident happened at Delta and Alameda. El Paso Police's Special Traffic Investigations Unit also responded to the scene. Police sent out an alert about that crash at around 5 a.m., but did not say exactly when or how it happened and who was killed. As of this afternoon, the incident remains under investigation. And police say they are investigating after a body was found in Far East El Paso. According to El Paso Police, they responded to the state jail on Montana for a welfare check early this morning just before 3:30 a.m. This is a look at the area you'll see this afternoon. No further information is available, and police say they are investigating, so of course we'll make sure to keep you updated as soon as we learn more. Well, we have new details this afternoon. Austin officials have released a mugshot of the target shooting suspect. He's been identified by police as 32-year-old Ethan Nenker, and he is suspected of opening fire in a Target parking lot in Austin yesterday, killing 2 adults and a child. This before stealing a vehicle in an attempt to flee the scene. He has been charged with capital murder by terror threat, capital murder of person under 10 years of age, and first-degree murder. He also has a past of conviction in 2017 of a felony assault charge and is set to have a history of struggling with mental health. No other information has yet been released. Well, first at 4, the Border Network for Human Rights is launching its annual Abuse of Authority documentation campaign once again. According to BNHR, through this campaign, the organization will collect and document alleged abuses perpetrated against border residents and immigrant families by law enforcement agencies, particularly by border and immigration law enforcement agencies. BNHR held a news conference earlier today to present this new campaign, and KTSM stopped by to learn more. Take a listen.
This is not just a survey to say yes or not. I mean, this is in-depth abuse documentation. What I'm saying is that documentation in the testimony telling the stories, they had to contain a number of information that is important to actually tell and validate a story.
KTSM 9 News reporter Diana Castillo, she's going to have a lot more on this story, and we'll of course hear from U.S. Senator John Cornyn, who visited Fort Bliss yesterday, and more on that is coming up today at 5. All right, let's go ahead and take a little break because the other big headline of today is that weather. So yesterday, I got to see at least some rain over my house late in the evening hours. Right now, if we take a look outside, well, I mean, most of our skies are kind of clear and blue. You can see some clouds out in the distance. So my big question is, are we in for another round today? And is it going to be one of those things where we'll get a few sprinkles, or I don't know? Let's go ahead and check in with Chief Meteorologist Robert Bettis. Robert, what can you tell us about today's rain chances?
Well, when you put up that tower cam and we see the beautiful blue skies and a couple of puffy clouds, we think,
That's it.
No, I'm very nervous about
Really?
the atmosphere tonight, yes.
Oh
and
my
therefore,
gosh.
that's why I triggered that weather authority
Okay.
alert. I want to make sure everybody's safe because the storms have the potential to be much stronger tonight. Here are the high temperatures so far today. 95 at the airport, 96 Juarez, 92 Las Cruces, and 94 Deming. You can feel the increase in humidity tonight. Now, the atmosphere is very unstable, and there's plenty of moisture, mid-level as well, at the altitude necessary for these thunderstorms. And this is the perfect example. The afternoon heating has spawned a cluster of storms out here near Silver City. I know that's miles and miles away. However, when these storms break apart, there's often a domino effect, and we could see potentially strong storms well into the night tonight, even the early morning hours. By tomorrow, it starts to clear up. In fact, I'm downgrading the chance of storms to just slight. We might see a little bit of distant lightning, but tonight's the night that has me a bit concerned. I'm going to have your detailed forecast coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and take you outside using our tech-dot cameras. This is what it looks like. I-10 US 54. Things are looking quite nice and clear. Not a lot of traffic to slow you down. Things are moving quite nicely in this direction. Well, in national coverage, hundreds of National Guard troops are expected on the streets of Washington, D.C. beginning today. This is all according to a White House official, and this is all to crack down on crime. The president deploying the Guard and taking federal control over the D.C. Police Department for up to 30 days without congressional approval, citing violent crimes like a recent attack on the former DOJ employee during an attempted carjacking. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says President Trump's takeover of the city's police department will not change how the city does business.
The executive order is pretty clear, and so is the law. The president has the authority, by virtue of the statute, to request services. Our organizational chart, how we do business, how we fund the police, how we make changes, none of that has changed.
Now, unlike the states, the president has direct control over the D.C. National Guard, and still the move represents another step in testing the boundaries of how U.S. troops can be used in American territory. Well, a new report out shows the prices American consumers are paying at the cash register. While Americans are reaching deeper into their pockets for some goods, they're also getting a little bit of a break on others. And in today's Political Minute, News Nation's Blake Berman breaks down that report.
A new read on prices in America. I'm Blake Berman, host of The Hill on News Nation. On Tuesday, the government released a key report on inflation, the July Consumer Price Index. It says prices rose 2.7% in July from the prior year. That's the same rate we saw in June. Prices for some goods went up from June to July this year, including bedroom furniture, tires, and baby apparel. Prices for gasoline, major appliances, and men's apparel were down. The White House celebrating the report, saying inflation remains stable. Democrats, however, say inflation is up. They point to rising prices on all goods except for food and energy, which are typically more volatile. That measure, called core inflation, rose by 3.1% over the last 12 months. The Federal Reserve takes this report and others into account when deciding what to do with interest rates. Their next meeting is next month. I'm Blake Berman, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
Well, coming up, El Paso County is hosting its final gun buyback event this weekend, and it's got a lot of you sharing your opinions on this. We read some of them in our comments. Then America's Got Talent turns 20. Can you believe that? And there will be a special celebration airing tonight on NBC. Mark Barger takes us behind the scenes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to KTSM Plus, putting local first.
thorough inspection report, roadside assistance, and much more. Visit 1490 Lee Trevino to learn more.
Welcome back, everyone. El Paso County will host its fourth and final gun buyback event this weekend. And during this event, county officials will offer prepaid gift cards in exchange for unwanted firearms. Non-functional firearms and ammunition will also be accepted. And the county tells us that the event is completely anonymous and you can drive up and voluntarily turn in your firearms. According to the county, the program removes unwanted weapons from your home, reducing the risk of theft, accidents, or just tragic misuse. The event will be held on Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon at the Escárate County Tax Office. Of course, we shared this story with you all through our social media pages, and a lot of you left some thoughts in the comment section. And Brian Hendricks writes, how can they buy back something that they never owned in the first place? Mark Shaw writing, anonymous, but you show up in person. And Oren Kilgore writes, no thanks. This is how tyrannical governments have taken control over the people. Of course, we here at KTSM, we want to hear from you. We value your opinion and we want to know what you guys think. So make sure you're always following us on all of our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. All right, Swifties, listen up. Taylor Swift has announced the release of her 12th album. Up next, the name of the album and when new music could be available for streaming. You're watching KTSM Plus.
To-do list. Same day eye exam, same day glasses. 2 pairs plus eye exam for only $79.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
KTSM has issued a weather authority alert for tonight due to the potential or the threat of stronger thunderstorms and intense rainfall. Now it's beautiful at the airport. 95 degrees right now. Dew point at 49. Mid-level moisture has jumped. I know it's so beautiful and clear, but I'm still very nervous about this atmosphere. Certainly climbing into the mid-90s was hot enough to get things going. Once we have storms in the area in a very unstable atmosphere like this, it can have a domino effect. I do believe tonight that the thunder showers have the potential to produce some brief heavy rainfall that could cause some flooding this evening. Storms could get pretty strong tonight. We're very unstable, charged up, so to speak. Now, could nature do it where the storms pass your neighborhood by? Oh yeah, absolutely. But we want everybody ready because we want everybody safe. Here are the high temperatures so far today. 96 Juarez, 92 Las Cruces, 94 Deming, 88 TRC, 90 Alamogordo, and 77 in Ruidoso. Satellite radar composite. Most of the action at this point is over New Mexico right now. But just because skies are fair down here in El Paso, don't let that fool you. In fact, an unstable atmosphere can look just gorgeous right before the storms move in. And tonight could be one of those very long nights where the storms don't even hit us until late this evening or possibly early in the morning hours. But when it is supercharged like this, I've noticed that it usually doesn't stop until it's wound down. In other words, thunder showers have played themselves out, and I believe that's the type of night we're looking at tonight. Right now, everything is focused right here near Silver City, where we do have a flood advisory in effect. Of course, the mountains of the Gila Wilderness, an effective starter of these thunderstorms, and then, of course, as they break apart, well, then we'll see some new spillover later, more into northern Doña Ana County, Luna County as well a little bit later tonight. We've got a flood advisory, or rather a flood watch, posted for Ruidoso and to the north. It's been fairly active right along the spine of the Sacramento Mountains. The ridge is producing those thunderstorms, a little bit of rain around Cloudcroft, but nothing major at this moment, nothing to be horrifically concerned about at this time. Now here is your exclusive 9-hour forecast for tomorrow. 96, and I'm downgrading the chance of storms tomorrow to just slight. We could see some isolated storms in the distant, mainly some lightning at night, but not a great rain chance for our Wednesday. 9s across the board on your allergy forecast tonight. Low temperatures, 63 Alamogordo, 62 Deming, 73 for Juarez, and 70 for Van Horn. High temperatures tomorrow, 94 Alamogordo, 95 Deming, and 97 for Juarez. Tonight for you, Las Cruces, I'm keeping that threat of potentially strong storms in the forecast well into the night tonight. 63 low temperature for you this evening. 95 the high tomorrow. Will downgrade that to just the slightest chance of an area storm. 72, and the same story for us. Tonight, those storms could get powerful this evening and overnight, and then tomorrow, 96 the high temperature, just a slight chance. Now coming up, I'm going to have your exclusive 9-day forecast. You stay with KTSM 9 News.
Newscast on August 15th.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, if you're a Swiftie, listen up. Taylor Swift has announced the release of her 12th album. The new album, The Life of a Showgirl, was announced on the musician's website shortly after midnight today, and the website does not mention a release date, but the stage page notes pre-order copies of the album will ship before October 13th, 2025, and this is Swift's first album release since the end of her Eras tour, which became the highest grossing tour of all time. Well, the live editions of America's Got Talent begin next week, but tonight the show takes time to celebrate its 20th birthday. Great moments and never before seen ones are part of the special. Mark Barger has more on the celebration.
When America's Got Talent started 20 years ago,
I'm afraid we've got to be quite brutal here. It's a talent show, not a freak show.
it was not what it would become.
Were you on board from day one on AGT in terms of watching it?
In the beginning, like I have to say, the first couple seasons, I was like, what is this?
In fact, at the time, Terry Crews was shooting Everybody Hates Chris on the same lot, and the future host would walk by the AGT setup.
It was so primitive, and I was looking at this show, and I'm doing my, my sitcom, and I'm like, oh, I hope they make it.
Welcome to America's Got Talent.
From original host Regis Philbin through Jerry Springer and Nick Cannon, and then Tyra Banks, the $1 million talent search not only endured, but grew.
I would say about season 7 or 8, all of a sudden, it just took off. Like me and my family, it was must-see TV.
And many of those must-see moments are revisited in tonight's 20th anniversary special.
There are amazing acts that are still world famous, but didn't get a buzzer, didn't win the show, but you never forgot them.
Crews has been ringside for the excitement since season 12.
What's it like for you backstage when you're sharing the highs and lows for these acts?
Well, I'm their counselor, you know. When someone's heart is broken, there's sometimes you can't do anything but hug them.
That can do wonders.
That's it. Right. We've had a lot of tears backstage, but when it works for them, it's the joy.
2 decades of talent.
It's 20 years, man. People have grown up on this show.
Mark Barger, NBC Entertainment.
All right, well, that does it for us here on KTSM Plus, but don't go anywhere. We have another half hour of news and weather coming up on KTSM 9 News First at 4.
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Welcome back to KTSM 9 News. First at 4, Texas's first special session likely to come to an end this week as House Democrats are still outside the state preventing a quorum. Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows, says that if they don't return on Friday, they'll adjourn and immediately start a new session. State Capitol reporter Adam Schwager discusses the latest update and more.
For the 9th straight day,
the roll has been called, and again, a quorum is not present.
Texas House Democrats have shut down the entire House by not showing up. Special sessions in Texas can only last 30 days, so the current session would expire in the middle of next week. However, if Democrats don't show up, Speaker of the House Dustin Burrows and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick say they'll deem the session over, with Governor Greg Abbott calling a second session, which would expire in mid-September.
Why has the Lieutenant Governor and Speaker not pledged that any bill ever written by any one of these Democrats is dead on arrival?
Republican Representative Brian Harrison has been uniquely critical of his colleagues and represents a growing base of the party who wants to see the Democrats more heavily punished.
So you have Republicans all to do that.
Right now, Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton have filed to vacate some of the quorum breakers from their elected seats. The Supreme Court's expedited briefing schedule still sets the last deadline on September 4th.
If they can stay gone until the end of November, then probably these maps can't be operative for the midterms.
Jessica Huseman is the editorial director at VoteBeat. She says the Democrats could kill the maps if they hold out for the next 3.5 months, if the March 3rd primary date holds.
We could delay the midterms. That is within the authority of the legislature. So is there a deadline? Not really.
Huseman says election officials will need several months in between whenever the primary takes place and November's general election, which can't be changed. In Austin, I'm Adam Schwager.
Well, after the House failed to meet quorum, the Texas Senate met to take votes, including votes on flooding and redistricting, when State Senator Jose Menendez's request that the Senate take up disaster bills before redistricting was rejected. 9 Senate Democrats symbolically walked out, and the new map passed the Senate 19-2, but would require a new vote if the special session is restarted. Well, in case you missed it, a new migrant detention and processing facility is set to open at Fort Bliss next week. And on Monday, U.S. Senator John Cornyn got a first look. Check it out.
Yeah, some of these people will be here for as short as maybe a couple of weeks while they are processed and then returned to their country of origin. And others are moved here because of overcrowding at other facilities and other locations.
As we reported, the permanent site is on Fort Bliss property, part of a $1 billion federal contract. It's designed to process migrants in ICE custody with space for 1,000 detainees, but ICE says it will grow to 5,000, making it the largest facility of its kind in the country. Senator Cornyn says only single adults will be housed, no families and no children. The camp will include medical care, legal access areas, and recreational space. Yesterday, county commissioners passed a resolution calling for more transparency from the federal government.
You know, a facility of this size, of this magnitude, up to 5,000 people will be detained there. I'm concerned about impacts to the surrounding community. I'm concerned about resources that are going to be taken from the community, especially workforce.
The camp is set to open on August 17th. County leaders say they'll keep pushing for a seat at the table when it comes to oversight. Well, to our border report, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum tells reporters yesterday that they are considering taking in orphans from Gaza. That's if necessary. Mexico will remain open to helping during the humanitarian crisis and others whenever possible. A formal proposal has been drawn up to have Mexico welcome orphans from Palestine, saying this is something Mexico has done with other children throughout its history. Since October 2023, the United Nations estimates 18,000 children have been killed by Israeli forces in the Gaza Strip, and more than 50,000 children have died because of hunger. Israel also continues to block humanitarian aid from making its way to Gaza. All right, let's go ahead and take a little pause. I want to take you outside and check out our tower camera. And here we go. Robert, I spot with my little eye one tiny little cloud. Okay,
Wait,
two.
3 if you add the one
The
way over
background,
on the
right?
far left.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, and I'm still nervous about that atmosphere out there.
I know, you're telling me.
So, I'm just concerned that we're very unstable. We've got a lot of moisture, and thunder showers, if they do get going tonight, could get quite strong. So I'd rather err on the side of caution. Let's get everybody ready for the potential for strong storms tonight and intense rainfall.
Yeah.
If nature chooses not to give us anything, well, then we're safe. But if not, we'll be ready.
We're prepared.
All right, let's take a look at the high temperatures so far today. At least we're not on the misery meter today. People have been waiting for a chance to cool down a little bit, and this, of course, is closer to normal. 95 so far, 96 Juarez, 92 Van Horn, 92 Las Cruces. Hot enough to produce storms in this environment. Now, this environment, very unstable. Increased levels of mid-level moisture, available precipitable water is all there, and we actually have a couple of little low-pressure nodes that come over the borderland in the night tonight. So it may be one of these nights that the storms go well into the evening, even into the early morning hours, and could become quite strong. Now, here's a quick look ahead. Tomorrow, I'm downgrading it to just the slightest chance, so really a different day. Isolated storms Thursday, thunder showers with brief heavy rain return on Friday. I'm going to have your detailed forecast coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. Well, the president says he's considering reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug. He expects the administration will have a decision in the next few weeks. And Washington correspondent Maddie Beer-Temple reports on what the change could mean.
Some people like it, some people hate it.
President Donald Trump says the decision of whether to reclassify marijuana is a complicated one.
I've heard great things having to do with medical, and I've had bad things having to do with just about everything else.
Currently, marijuana is a Schedule I drug, listed as having a high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use. The administration is considering making it a Schedule III drug, which the Drug Enforcement Administration says has less potential for abuse.
There's a lot of pressure for him to do it, so I think he's weighing all of the different considerations.
Kevin Sabet with Smart Approaches to Marijuana opposes the change. He says marijuana isn't harmless and thinks the pressure to reschedule is driven by money, since cannabis companies would get tax breaks under the change.
They stand to gain a lot of money, and that's what this is about. So this isn't about, social justice or research or advocacy.
If marijuana were rescheduled, it would still be considered a controlled substance and not legal recreationally nationwide. Groups that support the change say it would be a step in the right direction.
Cannabis has legitimate medical utility, and it doesn't possess the same risk profile as drugs like heroin and methamphetamine.
Paul Armentano is with the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, or NORML. He says rescheduling could give the cannabis industry better access to banking and potentially lessen some federal penalties tied to the drug. But ultimately, Armentano says Congress should be making this change.
They're arguably the most proper authority to do so.
In Washington, I'm Maddie Beer-Temple.
Well, over to consumer news. If you have the YouTube viewing habits of a teenager, watch out. YouTube is officially rolling out its AI-assisted age verification tomorrow as it cracks down on young users who lie about their age. The AI will analyze the type of videos you watch and the longevity of your account to determine your age, regardless of their birth date, and you might have entered when you signed up. YouTube says that if the system determines that a user is a teen, it will automatically apply age-appropriate experiences and protections. All right, well, coming up, Maluma, the Colombian singer, stops his show to call out a mother for bringing an infant to his Mexico City concert. We're going to have reaction in the comments segment. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9 News First at 4, putting local first. Welcome
Welcome to Epic Discounts by BestReviews.com. I'm Melissa Bergamini.
And I'm Jacob Palmer.
Be sure to take out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen so you can save on some amazing products, including home upgrades that will deliver some daily joy. First up, the Neretva bread maker. So if you've ever dreamed of warm homemade bread at the push of a button, of course you have, then this is for you.
Well, isn't it everyone's dream to have that delicious bread smell throughout your house? And with settings from everything from classic white bread to gluten-free, plus options for jam making, it's like having a personal bakery right at home. Just add your ingredients, choose your crust, and let the machine do the rest. And there's no better way to prep for the week ahead, especially when you don't have to do that much work.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. Also, no kneading, no guesswork, just fresh, delicious bread anytime you want. Sounds good to me. Next, let's talk about the Rock Tumbler Kit. Jacob, I have to hear about this.
Well, this is something that I hope people can discover because it's always such a popular gift. It's a fun, hands-on way to turn rough stones into polished gemstones so you can collect them, you can wear them, or you can gift them. This kit combines creativity with science, and it's perfect for kids and adults alike. With everything you need included, just load it up, turn it on, and watch the transformation. And Alyssa, it is so satisfying to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, you said that fast. It is satisfying, it's educational, as well as exciting too. Now let's upgrade your morning with the Nespresso Verturo by Pop Plus Deluxe by DeLonghi.
Well, this sleek machine brews rich, creamy coffee or espresso with just one button. It reads each capsule to deliver the perfect cup every time. Absolute must-have, must-use every morning in my house, and also a darling of the Best Reviews testing lab.
Yes, it is a staple in my house as well. So, hey, say goodbye to coffee shops because this is your new at-home cafe. And last but not least, the Levoit Sprout Air Purifier.
It's compact and quiet. It's ideal for any room where clean air matters. And with a true HEPA filter, it captures dust, allergens, pet dander, and smoke, helping you breathe easier and sleep better, which we know is so important for people's health.
It covers a little bit of everything. It is simple to use. It also fits so beautifully into your space without getting in the way. Let's get a look at all 4 products one last time, helping you bring more comfort, creativity, and quality to everyday life. Take out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen and get ready to scan, shop, and save with Epic Discounts.
more details.
I'm Robert Bettis, and you're watching KTSM 9 News. Putting
your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, one of the things that Robert and I are always talking about is how do we keep our community safe? And I think I love the fact that you're always triggering those weather authority alerts when you spot like a little tingly of maybe danger.
Yeah, well, we have a lifted index at -6 and a CAPE at 1350, and that might seem like I'm speaking Mandarin Chinese right now, but that means that we have
severe weather.
Potential severe weather.
Yeah.
It isn't guaranteed, but when it charges up like this, I get nervous.
And it usually doesn't do that. Like when it does that, you sound the alarms, the bells, because one storm, all it takes is one storm to turn dangerous.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Okay, so let's take a look at the high temperatures today. People wanted to get out of those triple digits, and you can put me in that category, so much better today. The trade-off with today, however, is even though it's 95 degrees outside right now with a dew point near 50, it feels a lot more muggy, and frankly, it feels hotter to me today. 96 Juarez, 94 Deming, 88 so far TRC, 91 for Alamogordo. To compare other towns, it cooled off a little bit in Phoenix, 109, 105 Laredo, 100 in Del Rio today. Satellite radar composite. Now, as we talked about, there is plenty of mid-level moisture, way more than there was yesterday. And then in addition to that, the instability, which we were just talking about, has really elevated. So is there a chance nature could walk by us and not give us anything? Well, sure, there's a chance, but there's also the chance we could get some strong, possibly even severe storm action before the night is done. Right now, everything is focused up here. These storms formed over the mountains of the Gila Wilderness, and now they're fanning out over the northern portion of Luna County. We have a flood advisory near Silver City right now. Any one of these storms, you can notice the dark, dark red to almost brown. That's hail contamination there. And these, of course, storms, when they break apart, will kick out outflow gusts, which will cause random gusts tonight, and they'll produce potentially new thunder showers in this environment. We've got a flood watch in effect for Ruidoso, and unfortunately, right in the burn scar area, it's starting to heat up over there. And heat up, I mean potential rain, moderate rainfall coming down with thunder showers. Here are the temperatures right now in your area. We're certainly hot enough today, even though we didn't make it to the triple digits. In addition to the heating, which activates these storms, we have some low pressure nodes that come through in the night tonight. So it could be a very long, active night of storms this evening. I want you ready. Here is your 9-hour forecast for tomorrow. Very different day. A lot more stable. I think nature wears herself out tonight with these thunder showers, and then tomorrow will stabilize a bit with only a slight chance of storms. Yes, Monica, that is your freshly cut lawn. 9s on the allergy forecast over the next 3 days. Low tonight, 63 for Las Cruces with the potential for strong storms well into the night tonight. 95 high temperature tomorrow. Only a slight chance of isolated area storms. 72 our low temperature tonight. Any one of these storms could produce some intense rainfall that could cause some localized flooding. And then 96 the high temperature tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, slight storm chance. Only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather. On Thursday, I'll upgrade that to isolated area storms, 97, better chance than Wednesday. Here comes that brief heavy rainfall again. It's going to be a very stormy weekend. Saturday, 92, 91 on Sunday with thunder showers. Any one of these storms could unlock quite a bit of rainfall. Monday as well, 93. Then a bubble of high pressure forms. We'll be back up to about 98 with slight storm chances Wednesday and Thursday. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. Well, right now I want to take you outside using our Tech Talk cameras, and this is what we're seeing. I-10 East Lake heading east. It does seem that there is an incident on the roadway, so of course this is causing major backup at this hour. Pack your patience. This is right after the Spaghetti Bowl. So again, if this is your commute, just know you are going to be stuck in this for a little while. But other than that, everything else seems to be moving smoothly. Well, in what's become a viral social media video, Maluma, who is nearing the end of his Pretty Dirty World tour, stopped rapping after spotting the fan holding up a baby and dancing. He then asked the mother the baby's age, to which the mother replied that the child is just 1 year old. Maluma asked the mother in Spanish if she thought it's a good idea to bring a baby who's a year old to a concert where the decibels are so high and the sound is so loud. He also said, quote, "I'd like to know what he's doing here. Next time, protect his ears or something," adding, "Truly, I'm telling you with love and just with utmost respect, now that I'm a dad." We, of course, shared this story onto our social media accounts, and many of you guys have plenty of thoughts to share with us. Earpiece Foundation writes in part, "Bravo, Maluma. Thank you so much for helping to educate your fans about the importance of protecting their children's hearing. No noise-induced hearing loss is progressive, typically painless, and permanent, but it is also 100% preventable." Norma Garcia Rayner says a concert is no place for a child, much less a baby. Edgar Gomez wrote, "That's responsible by Maluma." Now, this incident has ignited a conversation online, with some praising Maluma's actions, as you just heard from our viewers, but others are also criticizing him because they believe he was shaming the parent, believing he went too far in his reprimand. Here at KTSM, of course, we value your opinion and we want to hear more from you. So make sure you are following us on all of our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break. This is KTSM 9 News, First at 4.
Más Las Cruces.
Hi, my name is Ceci Vasconcelos. I'm the Public Art Coordinator for the City of Las Cruces. The city has a huge collection of public art, and you can find it everywhere in the city. One of our most iconic pieces is the recycled Roadrunner on Interstate 10 at the rest stop. People come from all over the world to take a picture with this 20-foot tall giant Roadrunner. Another piece that we have, or pieces, is we have not one but 5 water tanks painted by Anthony Pennock, and this is an art tour worth taking. We also have an abstract art in Young Park that towers over the park. It's white rails, just make you want to climb them, but please don't. So you can find public art in parks, community centers, and other public spaces, or you can go to Unhidden Gems. It's an interactive public art map found on our website. It'll give you locations, it'll give you pictures and brief descriptions of all our public art. So for more information, go to the website on your screen.
Más Las Cruces.
Tune in every day during our weather segment, only on KTSM, sponsored by Texas Bank.
KTSM has issued a weather authority alert due to the potential for very strong storms tonight and intense rainfall. That changes tomorrow. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with only a slight chance of storms, 96. The storms begin to become more frequent on Thursday at 97. And then as we cruise into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, those thunder showers could produce some brief heavy rainfall all 4 days before we heat back up close to 100 next Wednesday and Thursday. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. I want to give you a quick preview of what's coming up at 5 p.m. Check it out.
I'm going to count down to 5. You're right there where you're at. You hear me? 5, 4. I'm going to kill you. 3, 2, 1.
The Las Cruces Police Department is holding their real-to-real reality-based workshop. This is where they'll be demonstrating scenarios that will allow participants to see exactly how they handle various situations. Jesus Baltasar will show us what he learned and tips for the community. And the Border Network for Human Rights is launching an annual abuse of authority documentation campaign. One of the things the campaign aims is bringing about accountability to the U.S.-Mexico border region. Diana Castillo will have more on this. And this is all coming up in just a couple of minutes. That's it for me. I'm Monica Cortez. See you all tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hair and wardrobe provided by